Hey everyone, Laz here. Real Talk. Welcome to the very first episode of Real Talk Laz, a space where we strip away the mask, we ditch the performative toughness, and we get real about what's going on inside, especially for us men. Now, today, we're diving into something that affects way too many of us and barely gets said out loud. Episode 1 of this podcast is going to be called The Silent Battle. Now, the $1 million question, right, as you can imagine, is why don't men talk about mental health? So let's talk about it. When's the last time a man you knew looked you straight in the eyes and said, I'm not okay? Now, if that feels rare, that's the problem. We've been conditioned to stay quiet, to man up, to deal with it. And these phrases get drilled into us, and we start to believe them. But here's the thing, suffering in silence isn't always strength. It's a slow bleed mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even physically, right? So let's talk about how we even got here in the first place. From a young age, us boys are told to be tough. We heard things like big boys don't cry, handle it like a man, emotions are weakness. Now, honestly, to me, that's not masculinity, right? Even though for many years I thought it was, right? That's just toxic masculinity. And it warps our idea of manhood into something cold and closed off. So what happens, right? We grow up thinking that asking for help makes us soft, that being vulnerable is dangerous, and that our only acceptable emotion is our anger. Crazy, right? Nuts. Because that still feels manly enough for us to just get on by. Now, we're not taught emotional intelligence, we're taught emotional suppression. And with that, as you can imagine, there's a cost associated with that, right? And let's talk about the cost. So, unfortunately, men account for nearly 4 out of 5 suicide deaths in the United States every year. And most of those men, unfortunately, never reached it out. They never said a word because they didn't feel like they could. And instead, they coped with how they were taught, with either overworking themselves, lashing out, shutting down, and pretending everything's fine. But here's what I know, right? And here's what I've experienced firsthand in my life, that silence that you think is okay, guess what? It's going to turn into pain. That pain, that pain turns into isolation. And that isolation, well, it ain't good. So, again, why don't we just talk about it, right? And here's the raw truth. Number one, we're scared of being judged. Nobody wants to be seen as broken or weak, and especially not in a world that tells us men to have it all together. Shit, take it from me. Doing this video, doing this podcast, posting on social media every single day. That, to me, was the biggest fear I had, which led me to hesitate on getting out and posting myself, especially with such a vulnerable topic. But at the end of the day, I said, fuck it. Who's going to judge me? Right? The hardest critic in the room, if I'm being transparent, was myself. And I was holding myself back. And I was just tired of doing that. So I said, screw it. Full send. I'm doing it. People can judge me if I don't do it. People are going to judge me if I do it anyways. Right? So, YOLO. Right? And here I am. I've been able to get the confidence to do this, to post this video, to make it a weekly thing, to post daily shorts on YouTube as well, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. I mean, again, might as well do something, right? Especially if I can at least impact one person throughout all of this and make a positive impact on their life. And number two, we don't know how to talk. No one ever gave us the words. No one ever taught us how to say, I'm anxious or I feel lost or I'm hurting, right? No one. We're just taught to, hey, push it forward, keep moving. And to me personally, what that taught me is I just compartmentalized so much feelings, so much emotions until like a can of soda one day I just blew up and emotionally bursting, right? And that's not good. And lastly, the third thing is we just don't feel as men we have safe spaces to talk into. Most of us weren't really raised in an environment where it felt safe to talk about feelings, to bring feelings up. So instead, we just buried them, right? We joke with our friends, our guys, our boys, but we remain surface level and don't really go that deep. And the biggest takeaway here, which impacted me and hit home for me the most, was that we constantly show up for others, but when it comes time to show up for ourselves, disappear, vanish. No one's there. And that's huge, right? And for me personally, I know I'm the first one that's always there to help others. I'm the first one to show up early morning, late night, you name it, pick up the phone, all there. But when it came time to myself, do not disturb. And that's crazy if you think about it, right? It's awful. So that's when you show up for yourself, and little by little, day by day, we start to shift and we start to get better. And like I said, the biggest thing is we just need to give ourselves permission to be human, right? And that's where that shift's going to start. By talking to a friend, by talking to a spouse, a family member, letting them know that you're not okay right now and letting that be enough is real strength. And believe it or not, something else that helps tremendously, no shocker, therapy. Therapy was a huge part of my journey, a huge part, huge pillar of my success to getting out of the mental state that I was, especially during the pandemic. So I highly recommend, I know how it feels, but I highly recommend to taking that step, making that phone call, doing the research, and getting it done. Because the only thing that I regret is not doing it fast enough. And, after all said and done, real strength isn't about having all the answers, right? It's just, again, having the courage to say you need help, talking to your family, talking to your friends, talking to that therapist. When you open up to another person, right? When you open up, it feels so reliving, right? And as men, right? Even with me starting this channel, right? I saw other individuals, other men, kind of do the same, right? They feel like they're able to now. They feel like, hey, well, if Laz is doing it, I can do it myself. Or hey, maybe I can reach out to Laz, and I'm always here for that. I'm always here for support. And even as men, right? Let me tell you this: some of the strongest men I know have cried. They've asked for help. They've been in dark places, and they're still pushing through because guess what? They spoke up, and that's what matters the most. So if you've been holding it in, you've been carrying stuff that no one sees, remember this: I see you. You are not alone. You are not weak for feeling the way you feel, and you are allowed to talk about it. Don't forget that. We're all too valuable on this earth to not help ourselves when it comes time to it. So this was it. This was the first episode. A bit shorter than future episodes will be, but again, if I'm being transparent, this was me just kind of breaking that breaking that ice and getting the confidence up for me doing this moving forward. I know, when I post on either Instagram or TikTok, they're only about a minute and a half shorts. Definitely a hell of a lot easier doing that than talking for about 10 minutes on here. Even though the content's the same, the message is the same. It's just having that courage. But if I can do it, you can as well. So, and the next time, hey, we'll get into how to actually build emotional language as men, how to name what we're feeling, and what that unlocks when we do talk about it. So, if this message, if this video resonated with you, share with someone else who needs to hear it. They may not say anything to you, but I guarantee you they'll accept it, they'll be thankful you sent it, and they'll come around because I sure as hell did when I had that conversation. So, anyway, take care of yourself, everyone. Have a great day. Until next time, this is Laz signing off. Real talk as always. Have a great day.